Good afternoon, everybody. The WMSC is back for its final race ahead of the summer break. Well, we already had kind of a shorter summer break between the last round at Magny-Cours and this one that is taking place at one of the greatest motorsport venues in the world. We are racing at the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium today. Well, and let's also look what the weather is like for this race. And well, it is a very hot summer day. No rains or clouds expected. And the temperatures, as you can see, are pretty hot, between 32 and 34 degrees Celsius. The main stories ahead of this race, well, Janis Wilbon, can he keep his streak alive? He has won every race but one in Canada where he did not finish. But apart from that, he has won every single one of them. He had to fight for it though. Lucas Murno, his main opponent in the championship, has finished second three times. Can he go one better today? Well, we will find out. Infernal Void, this track might suit them very well. They had an underwhelming season so far, but maybe they can turn their season around just ahead of the summer break. Before we head into qualifying, yet let's also look at the current situation in the Drivers' Championship. Janis Wilbon obviously is leading the championship, but Lucas Murno is just 13 points behind, and with a win, he could get back into contention here today. Pascal Polens, the teammate of Janis Wilbon, third on 30 points. Philip Puschke, he has won, he's the only race winner that is not Janis Wilbon this season. He is on 27 points and also within a shot of the championship. Then Benton Reeder, Mesut Knezovic, Weller, Heyman, and Fekela making up the rest of the top 10. And in the Constructors' Championship, well, no surprises there. Holland Racing Team leading with 80 points, quite a sizable gap ahead of Scuderia Cesario, who are in second, but who are having a very, very strong season indeed, as is the case for Better Julia. They are in a battle for third with SCMM. Optimal, a bit of an underwhelming season, but they still have the chance of finishing third here. And well, then it is a very, very exciting battle for P6, as Infernal Void, Kostek, Potenza Esports, Velocita Virtuali, and Magnum Motorsports are all within that fight for P6, and that's also valuable development money that they can get for next season. So, qualifying should be starting in a few seconds. So we're just waiting for the lights to go green in this qualifying session. Now, who are the favorites ahead of this race? Well, obviously it is Janis Wilbon. He has won every race so far, but that one in Montreal where he had a disconnect. Lucas Murno is one of the other candidates that is expected to be strong here today. This is actually where he achieved his first podium finish last season, back when he was still racing with Infernal Void. That track suited them very well last year. Now in the Scuderia Cesario, he was competitive at pretty much every race so far. He came very close to winning in Bahrain. He came very close to winning in Spain then once again, and he also came very close to a win in Canada, which Philip Puschke snatched away from him. Well, qualifying is about to start. We can already see the cars lining up, and of course it is a Holland Racing Team car. First, at the end of the pit lane, the traffic light should go green in 7 seconds. Everyone heading out there. Oh, was there contact in the pit lane? I think there was. Someone's crashed into another car. There is a car without a rear wing. Yeah, I saw correctly. Now, interesting. They have escaped back into the pits. That rear wing has just been spat out of the pit exit. Well, this will be an interesting situation. Normally, if you have to escape into the pit, you can't continue in qualifying. But they still were inside of the pit lane. Anyway, we'll see what happens. But for now, let's focus on the drivers that are out on track. Yannis Wilborn ahead of the queue. He will be the first one to set a lap time. Behind him, I think this is Ruven Meschele, the two title contenders last season. Ruven had a bit of a disappointing season so far. He had issues with his internet connection, missed 2 or 3 races at the beginning of the season, and then also struggling a bit on his comeback. He hasn't won so far. He might also be one that is trying to put that right here today. But for now, let's watch Yannis Wilborn going through the bus stop chicane and starting his first flying lap of the day. Now, in contrast to last year, every lap time can be a very quick one. They don't have to start with the race fuel anymore in qualifying. So we'll see the first push lap already. Down towards Eau Rouge. That iconic combination of corners through Eau Rouge, up Radignan, and then onto the Camel Straight. DRS can be used from that line that we just passed. Towards Lecombe, using every inch of the track. He's not throwing the car around as much as we've seen in other races. So this might be a first benchmark to set a market down, set a lap time, a banker lap, to then improve from there. A few drivers missing. Mark Jordan for Velocita Virtuali is one of them. As Super Parker pointed out in the chat, thank you for that. Danny Weller for Beta Julia also missing, as Yannis Wilborn had a little moment there. Towards the second sector line we go. Well, no, we have already passed that one. So we don't see a second sector split here for Yannis, and he's also backing out of that one. So the first lap of the session will actually go to Alexander Knazovic, a 1:47.8. Well, we have seen quicker lap times in practice ahead of this race. They have already been in the 1:44s, so this is what we expect. And with Benton Reed in the meantime, already going a bit quicker, 1:45.9. Meschele just behind them, but yeah, there will be a lot of room for improvement still in the remaining 10, 11-ish minutes of this session. Pascal Polens in the other Holland Racing Team car. This is also not looking to be a lap time that sets the sheets alive, but it might be good enough for second provisionally. It is second. Purple final sector. Lucas Murnau. His first pole position is taken in Canada 2 races ago. Purple first sector once again for the Scuderia Cesario driver. And he's been the surprise of this WMSC season. He has been the surprise of last WMSC season as well, when he was super consistent for Infernal Void, managing to finish on the podium once. He has repeated that a couple of times now in Scuderia Cesario, but he's still waiting for that elusive first race win. Second sector not too well. He's drifted off the road a couple of times. track limit infringements are handled by the game, by the way, in case you didn't know yet. So these are handled automatically. To the bus stop, and where does this first lap put Lucas Murno? 4th. 4 tenths down on Daniel Benton-Reeder. Coach Mauricio Quercio on board for Kostek. In Canada, they finally beaten the curse and scored the first points of the season. Philip Facula, a career best of 5th in the WMSC for him back in that race. A very happy day for Kostek, that one. And they are battling Potenza Esports and Magnum Motorsports so far this year, maybe even Velocita Virtuale, where Mark Jordan has scored points so far. Gonzalez Catibano also joined the session. So we're only missing the second Optiminal that was driven by Tim Haug at the beginning of this season. Danny Weller, I think, is also not here. For him, filling in is Max Heyman once again in the second Better Julia. Quercio puts his car on to P13 for the moment. Wolbont, Pushke, and Kativo. Some bigger names still missing their first lap time. A very good first sector by Philip Pushke in his first timed lap. Middle sector not as strong. Will all come down to that final sector now. Looks clean through bus stop, and then a good exit, a bit of a slide there, and it is provisional pole by 4 thousandths of a second for Philip Pushke. Okay, now qualifying is alive, and well, there are only 6 minutes and 48 seconds left, so we might already see these guys preparing for their final run. They can, of course, come into the pits, change for new tires, and oh, Gonzalez Cativo, what's happened there? He had to escape from the track, and now this definitely means he's out of qualifying because he didn't make it back into the pits on his own. Knazovic also a very good first sector split. He's one that we expect a bit further up the order. One of the regular point finishers. Joined Cesario halfway through last season. Might get a bit of traffic ahead there. This is one of the SCMMs. That problem has solved itself now. Ooh, the second sector, he lost almost a second there. Woolborn, in the meantime, has scored provisional pole. He made it 1:45.7. So we missed that. But this is now the new time to beat. And this is also why why Knazovic has lost that much in the middle sector, because now the reference time is a different one, and he moves up into 7th, just behind his teammate Lucas Murno now. Victor B, a very good first sector. This seems to be an area where the HRT is not that quick. Then in the middle sector, this seems to be a strong suit, and B now takes 7th away from Knazovic, and this is exactly the same lap time that Lucas Murno did. No, I could have sworn it was 0.641. Maybe Murno just improved, or I couldn't read. Either way, very close between Murno and Victor B. Fernando Lebao is now approaching the line for an improvement in lap time, up to 10th. good opportunity to score points today starting from P10. Well, he's already down in 11, and now Lucas Murno is going for yet another lap. Purple first sector, but we know already, lots of traffic after Lecomte there. And now he's approaching one of the Infernal Void cars. Well, that is not good news for him. He might need to back out of this lap. Don't know if the Infernal Void is on a timed lap. He's now diving out of the way. Let's see what that middle sector is like. In the meantime, Henry Buckland, welcome to the stream. Team boss of Magna Motorsports. Fortunately, he couldn't be in the car today, so once again only one Magnum starting this race. Lucas Murno's middle sector still has been quite okay, and we know that with all the high speed in the final sector, people have been improving a lot on the lap time by Yannis Woolborn. Lucas Murno, across the line he goes, and up to second. Under 1/10 behind. So, the battle for pole is on. Woolborn currently in the pits. He will be preparing for his last run. Lucas Murno, is there still enough time to go round the track, into the pits, and out of it once again? Well, we don't know. It will be a pretty tight affair time-wise. He might need to stay out and try again on this set of tires that he is currently on. Jendrik Bierhoff, the only Velocita today. Trying to get off the back row of the grid. Big moment there through Puon. He seems to be struggling a bit more than other drivers. A lot of small corrections that he has to do. 4.5 seconds down in the middle sector. And Philipp Puschke, that is a big first sector split time. We're still waiting for improvements of Poland's and Meschede. We expect them to also be able to fight for pole position. Lucas Murno has improved in the first sector, is down on his own previous best in the middle one, comes across the final corner. I think he had a bit of sausage curve there on the inside. It is not an improvement. So Lucas Murno still on the front row, but this might be about to change as Philipp Puschke is now improving on his own in the middle sector, still down on Yannis Woolborn in total. And now it's once again all down to the run towards bus stop and through bus stop. Can Philipp Puschke improve? This is looking clean. Early on the throttle, doesn't step out the rear, and it is provisional pole by 0.02 of a second for Philipp Puschke. Now, where is Yannis Woolborn? Lucas Murno, he's in the pits, he has given up, no improvement from Murno. Woolborn is about to start his final run. He just made it past Lebau. Wide line and taking lots of speed with him, and ahead of him is his teammate Pascal Polens. He might give him a tow on the Camel Straight. Someone coming out of the pits. I don't think this will be of any use. Not enough time to start another flying lap. So everyone crossing the line now will finish their qualifying session. Yannis Woolborn is on a perfect part of the track now. He will have the most rubbered-in line that is available in this session. Alexander Knezovic also looking for an improvement from P8. Personal best in the middle sector. This could be a very good lap time. Potentially fifth, maybe, depending on how this final sector goes. It is not an improvement for Alexander Knezovic. Lost it in the final sector. Now, this is what I'm talking about. Ruben Messer leaving it very late. He's also in that fight for pole position. And this could be a very, very good lap. Close in the first sector, purple in the second. Now, what's it with this third sector? It is definitely going to be an improvement. I would be very much surprised if it is, and it is a huge improvement. 210 sub on Pushka's previous best. Pushka bailing out of that one. So he's in the pits now. No improvement from him, but there will be massive improvements by Pascal Polens, who will be the next top car across the line. The two HRTs with the right to respond. First one will be Pascal Polens, purple middle sector. What's the final sector like? Pascal Polens is only second, and it is extremely close. Yannis Woolborn has taken pole position at the dying stages of this session by 6/1000ths of a second. What a qualifying session this has been. And once again, it is Yannis Woolborn. Well, that was something. And this is a first taste of what you can expect in the race. So, I think everyone has set their laps now. There's no one out there. So, here is the provisional starting grid. Of course, there might be penalties. I don't think there are, or there will be, because there have been no incidents that are under investigation. So this is the provisional starting grid. Yannis Woolborn and Ruben Meschler share the front row, just separated by 6/1000ths of a second. Then it is Pascal Polens, Philipp Puschke, Lucas Murno, Daniel Benton-Rieder. Once again, solid qualifying session from him in 6th. Victor B, Gino Gugiano, Alexander Knezovic, Philip Fekkeler rounding out the top 10. Good performance from him. Gabriel Peckley in 11th. Fernando Labau, 12th. Max Heyman, Matheus Machado, Mauricio Curcio, Jendrik Bierhoff, and we've seen Gonzalez Cativo. He didn't set a lap time and will therefore start from P17. We'll be back in around 10 minutes for the race start, and you definitely don't want to miss that one if qualifying is anything to go by. So, grab a drink, grab a snack, and we'll see each other in 10 minutes. Welcome back, and as we are just minutes away from the start of this race, let's have another look at the starting grid. So there were no changes, so we will see Yanis Wolborn starting ahead on pole position from Reuven Meschede, Pascal Polens, and Philipp Puschke in fourth. It was a rather disappointing qualifying session for main championship challenger behind Wolborn Lucas Murno, who will only go into this race from P5. Then it is Benton Rieder from 6th, B7th, Kativo Gagiano 8th, Knezovic 9th, Fekela 10th, Peckley from 11th, and then Fernando Labau starts from P12. And then we have Heyman, Machado, Quercio, Bierhoff, and Kativo. Let's hope he is able to start this race. He seemed to be struggling in qualifying with some issues. We have now switched into the race session and are really now just waiting for the cars to line up on the grid. There will be no formation lap. We will start this race immediately. Sorry for any sound issues that might have occurred during qualifying. We hope to have fixed them now. And yeah, apologies once again for any issue that was there technically in the qualifying session. Well, the cars are already lining up. Yanis Wolborn's ready. He is not ready anymore. Now Philipp Puschke has appeared in fourth. Let's hope there is no issue on Wolborn's end. Oh, they're all back. And now we're awaiting for the start of round 7 of the WMSC 2024, and we're go, and it's a very good start from Yanis Wolborn. Reuven Meschede has already to defend from Pascal Polens, and round the outside Philipp Puschke was into fourth briefly. There has been a penalty for, I think it was Victor B already. Might be a jump start there, almost side by side between Polens and Puschke into Eau Rouge. And this is a very, very good opportunity for Reuven Meschede, who is already alongside Yanis Wolborn, who is later on the brakes into Lecombe. And Meschede has taken the race lead. Philipp Puschke made it past Wolborn, and Lucas Murno is also seizing his opportunity there. Side by side, they go up the hill, down towards Bruxelles, and Murno is past Pascal Polens. More interesting battles down the line. Oh, big crash. Victor B has lost his rear wing, and he spins into the way of his teammate. I can't believe it. Once again, a dramatic start for Infernal Void. They have almost taken each other out there. Quercio also involved in that incident. We will surely see a replay of that later, and it's unbelievable the amount of rotten luck that Infernal Void are having. Be just slightly going off the road, spinning on the grass, and then just spinning in the way of his teammate Kativo, who therefore only has the choice to either crash into his teammates or into the wall. Well, he went for the wall. Might be able to fix the damage though. So let's focus back on the battle for the race lead. Reuven Meschede has done what Sebastian Vettel has done at the Belgian Grand Prix 2018. Famously passing Lewis Hamilton on the camel straight towards Lecombe. For now, this is looking like a five-way fight for the race lead. Max Heyman is also in the pits. He might have been involved in an incident on the opening lap as well. Unsurprisingly, Quercio and Kativo have now also reached the pit lane. Knezovic just passed Benton Rieder. This probably was into Lecombe. And Lucas Murno putting the pressure on Philipp Puschke at this moment. Very good start also by Gino Gagiano, who made it up into 6th on that opening lap, and who is still able to somewhat follow Pascal Polans around the track, he would still be in the DRS window when DRS will be activated at the end of this lap. There is kind of a gap forming between Wohlborn and Puschke. And this is also what Lucas Murno will be seeing. Will therefore try and get past the SCMM as quick as he can. Kativo has given up. He is out of the race now, classified as DNF. Victor B still in the pit lane, already a lap down now. And the afternoon for Victor B gets even worse now. He has received a 10-second penalty for an unsafe rejoin there, taking out Mauricio Courcio and his teammate in the process. Now, Philipp Puschke is incredibly close to Yannis Wohlborn, who has to defend into Lecombe. And this is very good news for Ruven Meschede, who was able to kind of build a gap there. Now, Puschke once again under threat from Lucas Murno. This is a replay of what happened to Victor B. He is battling one of the Potenza cars. I think this must be Packley. Oh, he is very aggressive. He kind of forces his way through. And oh no, sorry, this is Gonzalez Kativo. And B was further up the road, already spinning out. This is how Kativo's race ended. Philipp Puschke will not have DRS as it stands next lap. He needs to gain a few hundredths of a second there towards Yannis Wohlborn in the final corner. Otherwise, this might be a fantastic opportunity for Lucas Murno. Let's watch that rear wing of the SCMM. He is still able to open it, barely inside the DRS window. Fastest lap time by Yannis Wohlborn in the meantime. Oh, there is... Who's that? Is that Jenrik Bierhoff coming out of the pit lane? No, coming out of the back of that Velocita Virtuale car. Puschke not really close to Wohlborn this time. He still has DRS. This is crucial for him. We've been told by the drivers how important it is to stay inside the DRS window, because you can gain so much if you're able to open that rear wing against the car ahead. So as soon as you're out of that DRS, you might be tumbling down as a stone. Now this time we'll see what happened to Victor B. Approaching Bracels on the outside, just running out of road, almost losing the car there, then making contact with, this was Max Heyman, so this is why he was in the pits. And then, yeah, so the unsafe rejoin that Victor B was penalized for was probably against Max Heyman, who lost his front wing in the process. The contact resulted in B losing the car, going back on the grass, and then he entered the track rearwards. This was, well, nothing he could do about that. So now we have this situation clarified as well. Philipp Puschke managing to stay closer to Yannis Wohlborn this time, but the HRT is now all over that rear wing of Ruven Meschede, and maybe already into La Source. There might be an opportunity for Wohlborn, but I think it's wise to bide the time and wait for the Camel Straight, which is the prime overtaking spot on this track. Very crucial to get a good exit out of Radillon. This is looking very good indeed. From here on, Wohlborn will be able to open the rear wing. Will Meschede need to go defensive? I think he will need to go defensive. He is! Oh, for a brief moment, but what an attack by Yannis Woolborn, who goes off the track. And there goes Philip Pushka. He's on the inside for the next corner. Contact between Pushka and Woolborn. Lucas Murno now sensing his opportunity here. 3 wide into Brussels they go. But Woolborn manages to stay in second. Very late move by Yannis Woolborn to try and attack Ruben Meschede into Lecombe. He didn't manage to get the corner done, went off the track, and then things got very, very messy between him and Pushka. He will need to close that gap to Meschede once again. I think he's already done that. I see in the chat people disagreeing with the penalty for Victor B. Well, yeah. I see why people might tend to disagree with that. Jandrik Beerhoff out of the race. Victor B in the pits again. No, he's also out now. Yeah, he has just retired from this race. It definitely is a harsh penalty for Victor B, but I can see where it's coming from. But yeah, it is one of those opening lap situations. With lots of cars and very little space available for them to race. Now, speaking about people racing over bits of tarmac, this is Philip Pushka, and surely he's going to pass Yannis Woolborn now, who will not have DRS this lap, and even ahead of the DRS activation. Pushka was alongside Woolborn, so that was quite an easy pass for the winner of the race in Canada. And he will now try to close the gap to Ruben Meschede, who's been able to pull out almost 1.5 seconds on the cars behind. Lucas Murno lost quite a bit of time there as well. Lots of battles on track right now. We've just briefly seen Benton Reader, who is all over the back of Alexander Knazovic, trying to move up into 7th. Gagiano made it past Pascal Polens. Now, this is very interesting. We haven't seen that. Or my short-time memory is just very bad. But I think we will need to stay at this fight, because this is going to be very interesting once again. Philip Pushka will not have DRS from Ruben Meschede. The gap is still too big. Lucas Murno is very close to Yannis Woolborn, though. Oh, he almost managed to pull alongside through La Source there. Now he's almost pushing Woolborn through Eau Rouge and Radion. The gap between Woolborn and Pushka is very big. Murno was already alongside, and this is going to be very interesting. Murno will have the inside line. He's already alongside Woolborn now. Who is later on the brakes? Woolborn is. And this time he manages to get the corner done, stay between the white lines, and stay in 3rd, therefore. But it seems like the HRTs are struggling a bit. Gagiano ahead of Polens is a bit of a surprise. There is also a gap between these two, and yeah, the 3-way fight that we are seeing on screen right now. And at least this lap, it looks... Oh! Yannis Woolborn spins into the wall, he goes! I think he's lost his front wing. I was about to say they are struggling, and it looks rather like Murno is about to overtake Woolborn than Woolborn is overtaking Pushka. He will have to pit now. Oh, come on, please, Yannis. Why are you defending against Gagiano? I think he should really go out of the way with this damaged car. I know he's trying to help his teammate, but come on. That is not too sportsmanlike what Woolborn has done there, in my opinion. This is... Well, I'm sure Race Direction will take a look at that, but this was not on in my opinion. If you have a damaged car, you should get out of the way. Luckily, Gaggiano stayed ahead of Holland, and there was no crash. Knežević therefore moves up to 6th, and now he's also close to Pascal Poland. Poland's close to Gaggiano in the meantime. I think I saw Gaggiano moving down the straight, but the straight line speed, which was such a strong suit of HRT last year, well, it's not there anymore. They've changed philosophy between the years, and this season they have opted for a high downforce design. Yeah, this is what they're struggling with, I think, this race, especially on the Camel Straight. And this is the first time this season that we are properly seeing them struggle. And this is a big opportunity, of course, for Lucas Mörner now to fight back in the championship, but for now, he's only 3rd. But if he wins here, the gap might come down a lot. So, as that one 4-way battle that we had at the front dissolved, we have a new 4-way fight between Gaggiano, Poland, Knežević, and Benton Rieder. We will talk about strategy in a minute, but for now, let's look at this battle. Poland had a little look at around the outside of Gaggiano into the bus stop chicane. Knežević saw his opportunity, made contact with Poland's. Oh, lots of controversial moves that we're seeing right now. Wilborn, by the way, out of the pits, down in 12th now. He's switched on to soft tires. I think he started this race with the medium. As it is in Formula 1, the teams have to... Oh, the drivers have to use both mixtures, and what is going on with the HRT guys? Poland's moving over on Gaggiano while he was still alongside. I think what we're seeing here now is Gaggiano's tires giving in. He was the only driver in the top group that started on the softs. And now, come lap 9, I think the grip is just not there anymore, and he might need to stop one of the next laps. Look how much he's already lost compared to Pascal Poland's. Confirmation, by the way, Wilborn started on the medium, so he is now on the softs. Oh, Benton Rieder having a look. Surprise move into the bus stop chicane. Can he get the power down? He can, but a bit too late. Knežević stays ahead. And Gaggiano lives to fight another day. Oh, interesting. Pascal Poland has just been asked to let Gaggiano by because of that incident off the straight. This is what I said when he was moving over on Gaggiano while he was still there. But this might be a difficult affair now for Pascal Poland, as Gaggiano is being passed by Knežević. So Poland now will either take a penalty for not letting Gaggiano by again, or he will have to let 2 cars by, and that might soon be 3 cars. What? So Pascal Poland, as he has not let Gaggiano by, will have 5 seconds added to his time in the end of this race. I think that's Quite a wise decision by Poland, because I think he would lose much more if he lets Gagiano by now. Benton Reader all over the rear wing of that SCMM. He should have much more grip, because I think this is where Gagiano is struggling much later on the brakes, and past Gagiano goes Benton Reader. Oh, Gagiano, I think he's headed into pit lane, because I don't see him anymore, and yes, this is no surprise. The softs are over at the end of their lifespan. More pit crews out there. So maybe we'll see other drivers that have started this race on the softs in. Doesn't look like it right now. So Gagiano, in and out of the pit lane, comes out in 10th. And is... Oh, there is more drama. Lucas Murno shoving his way past Pushka. Or is he? Oh, Pushka returning the favor by pushing him wide. Very much on the edge and maybe over a bit, this battle here. But of course, this is crunch time for Lucas Murno's championship aspirations. He, of course, knows that Wilborn is down there in 11th after that crash that he had earlier. Unforced error, very, very unusual. We haven't seen this by Yannis Wilborn at all this season. We saw it at a couple of tracks last year, especially Portimao and Jerez, where they were struggling back then with their low downforce setup. We've seen him do a couple of mistakes there, but this season he's been absolutely bulletproof so far. And yeah, therefore Lucas Murno will... And I've just been told Lucas Murno has received a final warning for the dive bomb that we just saw against Philip Pushka. We only saw the end of it, but yeah, it looked like a very ambitious move, what we saw. So, busy afternoon for race control. All the time Ruben Meshede is managing his race right now. This time I don't think there will be any opportunity. The SCMM seems to be incredibly fast on the Camel Straight. So even with DRS, it will be very difficult for Lucas Murno. This is where he tried it last lap. Way too ambitious. He has been warned. And if he does anything like this again, well, he will also receive a penalty. Gagiano, by the way, has switched onto the medium tire after starting on the soft, so he has got that one out of the way. And we'll now watch how long these mediums will last. Oh, a little moment there for Lucas Murno. Same spot where Wilborn had his spin into the wall. Once again, Pushka pulling away from Murno, right ahead of a heavy braking zone where you could, in theory, make a move. But it looks like the SCMM is suited a lot better for this track than the Cesario. He gets very close to La Source. And now this here is the crucial part. Down the hill towards Eau Rouge. Up Radion, and he looks pretty close this time. Surely he's going to be able to attack into La Source. Closer than he's ever been before. Pushka going to the extreme inside, forcing Murno the long way. Into the braking zone we go, round the outside. Murno gets the corner done and moves up into second. Gino Gagiano, Pushka's teammates, looking to make a move on Matheus Machado. And I think this should be straightforward. Ooh. Awkward spot on the track to be so close to your car ahead. But I think, yeah, that really is straightforward for Gino Giugiano. In the background, you were able to see Yannis Wilborn, who is just 4 seconds down the road. And on a recovery job. Still, he's on the softs, and after around 8 laps, they started to fall off the cliff for Gino Giugiano. Wilborn also was very close. He is still owning the fastest lap of the race so far with a 1:47.1. In comparison, the guys at the top had 1:38.2 or 0.3s. Wilborn's last lap was a 1:48.1. Mescher's last lap a 1:49.0. But Lucas Murno is now really trying to close that gap. He is pulled away from Philip Puschke, and his last lap time was his personal best, a 1:47.8. So Murno, of those guys at the front, currently the fastest driver. And this battle still is raging on. We've briefly seen it before. This time we can finally watch it unfold fully, because this is, I think, the biggest battle that we have on track right now. Benton Reader not close enough to try and move into not La Source Lecombe against Knezovic. Another on-track battle is currently happening between Gabriel Peckley and Fernando Lebao. This might be for a point in the end. Wilborn just made it past Machado, no surprise there. Towards the bus stop we go now. Benton Reader a bit too far away, but this is where he's tried it earlier. We almost made it past Knezovic there a couple of laps earlier. Oh, Alexander with a bit of a moment out of the bus stop. Nothing too bad though. And this is the battle that I've been talking about earlier between Potenza Esports and Gabriel Peckley and Fernando Lebao in the Magnum Motorsports car. But as Kneze and Benton Reader are once again on the Camel Straight, this is the battle to watch right now. But once again, it doesn't look like Benton Reader is close enough. He has a little look, but well, anything that he would have tried there would have been very, very desperate. Also, Lebao too far away. Way too far away from Peckley to try anything. And there is already Gino Giugiano on the alternate strategy, starting on the super soft, now on the medium. By the way, every driver has gone for the super soft medium mixtures. No one has decided to go for the soft hard. That they would, in theory, also be able to choose. But this is a pattern that we've seen throughout this season, everyone going for the super soft medium package. So after a very exciting first 12-13 laps, maybe this race has calmed down a little bit, but it may come alive very soon again, because look at the gap between Ruben Meschede and Lucas Murno. Just 1.2 seconds. Murno is just on the brink of getting DRS from the car ahead. And it will also be interesting to see when the first of those medium shot cars will make their way into the pit lane. Murno definitely is in undercut territory, but the pace of those mediums still look okay. No sudden drops of lap time. This is the same for Janus Woolborn, who's still looking quite quick on those super softs. I'm also having a look on his lap times every now and then. Oh, and this is Gabriel Peckley off, and he's lost his rear wing. And the front wing as well. A very, very minor moment that he had there turned into a complete catastrophe. Oh, now he's been blocking Gaggiano a bit. He goes off the road, and this has put Gaggiano into the clutches of Janus Woolborn, who is now all over that SCMM, but once again, almost disaster for Woolborn there. Who will be driving around with a bit of anger in his stomach there. Will he try anything into the bus stop, which might make him vulnerable into the DRS zones that are still coming up? Gaggiano defending the inside, forcing Woolborn the long way. He smartly decides to stay behind. I think that is a wise choice. The rear wing opens, towards La Source they go. Once again, yeah, he does nothing. Oh, a bit of a moment there for Pushka entering that hairpin. But now, I think that one will be straightforward. There goes the rear wing. Pushka defense, Gaggiano defense. And Woolborn goes round the outside, but the SCMM, oh, he's maybe trying to look for the counter-attack. Doesn't manage to pull it off. But once again, you're able to see that, oh, what's going on with Gaggiano? A couple of times now, he's struggled a bit under braking, as it seems. Let's just hope there are no brake issues in these kinds of temperatures here today. We've seen that happen in Bahrain, where over half the field was struggling with brake issues. But maybe he was just trying to overdrive the car, trying to defend against Woolborn, because in the long run, I think this might still help his teammate, who is the first of the medium shot cars that is in the pits right now. Murno, by the way, should be all over the back of Meshede. Yeah, there we go, into the DRS zone. Knezovic also in the pits in the meantime, but this is rather uninterestingly because we have a fight for the race lead on track. Ruben Meshede forces Murno the long way. They almost went to Lecombe side by sides, but Meshede stays ahead for now. Now this is of course costing them time, and they will know now that Pushka behind them is maybe trying to go for an undercut. Will these two react? Will only one of them react? Or will they decide to stay out longer to maybe have the tire advantage later in this race? So, as I said, this one will come alive, and it has just come alive. Knezovic came out behind Gaggiano. Pushka, well, that is a nice gap that he found to make his pit stop there. In fourth, a couple of seconds behind Benton Reader, who will probably also stop quite soon. Oh, interesting lines taken there by Lucas Murno. Picking up some dirt. And now, here is the pit entry. Will they dive in? They both go in. Oh, now this will be very interesting. They both react on what Pushka has done. Lucas Mann almost slamming into the back of that Optiminal. And this is going to be a very interesting fight of the pit crews. Now, they can, of course, invest into their pit crews to have quicker pit stops. Lucas Murner, 4.6 seconds for Meschede. I don't see any time for Murno, but Meschede stayed ahead. And there is Philip Puschke, and his tires will be warm. He has the momentum. He might be very close at the end of the Camel Straight. Shouldn't take long at these temperatures for the tires to be up to temperature, though. So, I think they have, prevented an undercut by Philip Puschke. Murner definitely is on the super softs. I think, if my eyes are not deceiving me, so is Meschede and Puschke on the supers as well. Groshue has just received the drive-through penalty for not respecting blue flags. This is what you were able to see on your screen right now. And I think what we can also now definitely say is that this is going to be a two-stop race for the guys at the front. In this middle part of the race, they're now getting the super soft out of the way. They came in lap 18, lap 19 respectively. So this is the life expectancy of the medium tire. The super soft will take them towards lap 29, 30-ish, maybe. With the risk of falling off the cliff, though. So, the options that I see for them right now is trying to go a bit risky, going for another super soft stint after this one, or playing it safe, getting the super soft out of the way and switching onto the medium for the final stint. Well, we will see what they're going for, but for now, once again, the battle for the race lead resumes on track, and of course, this is what we prefer, other than a race decided in the pits, good on-track action, and we've seen plenty of it this season. And this race is shaping up to be just as much as a banger as the races in Spain and Barcelona have been. A three-way fight all the way to the end between Murno, Poland and Walborn. Then the race in Canada. A drying track in the late stages. A big battle between strategies and tires. Puschke came out on top there against Lucas Murno. Well, and today, a battle that I don't think we've seen before. Ruven Meschede against Lucas Murno. This is what it looks like right now, but never count out Philip Puschke. Even though he's dropping back right now, he is the dark horse that always steps up when there is an opportunity to snatch a win. And as long as he stays remotely close to them, there is every chance for him to come out victorious once more here today. But for now, it still looks like Lucas Murno is on the charge. He's looking very close now, indeed. And I think surely this has to be it. Yannis Walborn in the pits, no surprise. I think he might be trying to go for the medium now and try to make it work to the end. Straightforward move there by Lucas Murno. We've seen him pull this one off before against Philip Puschke. And Murno takes the race lead. Knežević against Gagiano. Gagiano on way older tires. So I think this should also be quite straightforward. Knežević up to 5th. And Walborn, I think, once again has gone for the softs. So he will be going for 3-stop strategy after all. So Of course, he's pushing, he's going to play it aggressively. He's not trying to go for the mediums and make them last. Spa-Francorchamps, we have not seen much from him, but he is in a battle of his own with Matheus Machado, and Machado stays ahead. So the straight line speed of the Kostek seems to be inferior compared to the straight line speed of the Potenza, because even with DRS, wow, Lucas Murner 145.8, and he's already dropped Machado 1.2 seconds, the gap between these two. Incredible. Who can stop Lucas Murno today? This might finally be it. Let's see how this gap develops. And now this is also a very interesting battle. We've seen Knežević fighting Benton Reader before. And Knežević, by disposing of Gagiano a lap earlier, he's now able to pull a bit of a gap to his long-time rival in this race, Daniel Benton Reader. On towards the Camel Straight they go. Benton Reader has the inside. I don't think Gagiano will be defending much because he is on a different strategy. He knows that he shouldn't hurt his race here by fighting battles he can't win anyway. Benton Reader will immediately try to get back to Knežević. Now, once again, round 2, Spa-Francorchamps against Matheus Machado. And once again, Machado defending the inside, and Francorchamps not quick enough. Oh, but this, wow, would have been a surprise attack. Pulls out of it. I think he's wise to do so. Ooh, there was almost contact through Puan, and Francorchamps spins, half spins. At least keeps it out of the wall. There might even have been a bit of contact, because Francorchamps looked like he was able to, carry much more speed through Puan than Machado ahead. And this would explain a lot. Machado probably on a low downforce setup compared to Francorchamps on a higher downforce setup. And that's why he can't get past on the Camel Straights. Turkeyboat can't get past. Daniel Benton Reader. And this time, he looks like he would be able to pull it off round the outside, and he does not manage to get the corner done. Off the track goes Benton Reader, and Knežević stays ahead. In the meantime, by the way, Gabriel Peckley has retired from this race. We have seen his very unfortunate crash. He was on the way to potentially another point-scoring finish, and Mauricio Quercio has also retired. So, with this many retirees here today, a big opportunity for the remaining cars on the lower end of the pack. So Fernando Labau, Matheus Machado, and Spa-Francorchamps. The big opportunity here for them today, once again, to sneak a point away here from Spa-Francorchamps. Quick reminder, only the top 8 score points in the WMSC, so we have the point system that was used in Formula 1 between 2003 and 2009, if I'm not mistaken. So 10 for the race winner, and all the way down to 8th, which scores 1 point. Benton Reader this time looks further away from Knezovic than before. So I don't think we can expect any move this time. And he really needs to think about this and line him up properly. Because I think we see the same issue that we've seen with Fekala and Machado. Maybe not as badly as between these two. But Knezovic is quick enough on the straights to never really allow Benton Reader to get a move done, at least an easy, straightforward move done that we've seen a couple of times here today. So Benton Reader really has to work for it and maybe think about alternative spots to try and get past the Cesario. Fekala's afternoon just got a lot worse, even after half that spin. He's just been to the pit lane and he now received a penalty, so I take, as I haven't heard anything from race control, this is probably an automatically issued penalty, so probably speeding in the pit lane. Judging that he just was in the pit lane. But this time Benton Reader looks a bit closer again, but yeah, you can see it. Knezovic is pulling away a bit here downhill. Benton Reader came a bit closer through Rouge and Radion, and only now is he starting to gain somewhat, but look at that. So that Cesario is really quick in a straight line, at least compared to the better Julia. Ooh, Benton Reader is really on the edge. Murno is slightly moving away from Meshade at the front. The lap times still look okay-ish. Fekala, in the meantime, in the pits, probably to serve his penalty. So, yeah, focusing back on strategy because, again, the race has calmed down a bit. We expect the next round of pit stops in around 5 laps, I would say. We've seen Gagiano being able to do 10 laps on the Super Soft in his first stint. But this was, of course, when the cars were a bit heavier. So it might work a bit better now, or last a bit longer, as the cars burn down fuel. And then I think the reasonable thing to do is do another stint on the Super Soft. So I would be surprised at this point to see anyone go for the medium if they actually manage to make it past lap 30, let's say, on the Super Soft. Yannis Woolborn, in the meantime, is closing in on Gino Gagiano once again. But remember, we still expect a stop from both Gagiano and Woolborn, as Woolborn went for the Super Softs. Gagiano himself is, according to the timing tower, not too far away from Knezovic and Benton Reader. So if everything goes all right for Yannis Woolborn, he might look at a P5 finish still here. I think once again this will be quite the straightforward move for Yannis Wilborn. Only this time with the difference that they both will need to stop once more. No surprises. Wilborn pulls out on the camel straight and moves past Gagiano, who doesn't even defend. Very reasonable thing to do once again by Gino, who is really racing very intelligently. As he's looking to make it a double points finish for SCMM here today. Philipp Puschke once again opening the final round of pit stops. And this is interesting because this is not... Oh, this is an interesting choice now for him. He might try it with the super softs, but this is a bit of a tough ask if you ask me. And indeed, he's going for the medium. So maybe this is strategy, as he knows that these guys ahead might be going for another for another super soft stint. So he's trying to put the pressure on by now switching a bit earlier onto the mediums to try and force their hand into a different strategy, or maybe an unfavorable strategy. Although he's doing it by putting himself into maybe that a bit less quick strategy. So we will watch Lucas Murno and Ruven Meschede. How do they react? Well, the gap of Lucas Murno is quite big to Philipp Puschke. 3.5 seconds he is now ahead of Ruven Meschede, and Puschke was a further few seconds behind, so Murno might have a bit more time to react than Meschede. Also, risking to be vulnerable to what is happening here. Ruven Meschede reacts immediately to Philipp Puschke, and he is coming in as well. And let's see what the tire choice for Ruven is. All tires are coming off, new ones are going on, and unless there is a graphics glitch, these are the super softs for Ruven Meschede. This is what I expected. He will need to make them last a few laps longer than he did in the second stint, but once again, this is now a lighter car. So, I think Lucas Murno might be going for the same thing. .5 seconds the gap to Meschede ahead of the pit stop. This should, in theory, be enough. Pascal Polens, in the meantime, also made it into the pit lane. Haven't missed that. And I think he also came out on the super soft. And this now might be trouble for Philipp Puschke, who might have gone for the wrong tire here. Yeah, Polens is on the super soft, but he is now stuck behind Alexander Knežević, who pulled a bit away from Daniel Benton-Rieder. Both Knežević and Benton-Rieder also need to do their second stop. Oh, Polens all over the back of Kneze. And I think Murno has gone another lap. No, he hasn't. Oh, okay. It was just not showing him in the pits. So, which tires are coming on to the Scuderia Cesario? Looks like super softs, and I think these are super softs. Now, where is Ruben Measured? I think we just heard him pass, go into the source there. Yeah, there he is. So Lucas Murno defends from the undercut and remains our race leader with 14 laps to go, including this one. Knazovic will now be passed by Pascal Polens. Or will he? We've seen that the Scuderia Cesari is very quick in a straight line. Knaz is defending from Polens a bit there, but yeah, not much he can do against those fresh tires. And once again, he will see that also familiar green and white Better Julia in his rear mirrors now. Well, he was able to defend from him for 30 laps now, so he might be feeling quite confident. And this now, of course, is a big opportunity for Daniel Benton-Rieder. If he can't make it on track, he is now in undercut territory and could decide to go for an earlier pit stop to move past that Cesario. He will be dreaming of that rear wing tonight, as he has been seeing it throughout this race. So what do they do now? I think now you can quite safely go for that final pit stop and make it to the end. And they're both staying out. Polens sets the new fastest lap. By the way, there is a cash prize on offer for the driver that sets the most fastest lap at the end of the season. Currently, the standings in this sort of separate championship, if you will, are Jannis Wilborn leads with 3 fastest laps so far. Second is Lucas Murno with 2, and Ruben Measured has 1 fastest lap to his name so far. Right now, it would be the first point for Pascal Polens, but we all know Jannis Wilborn will be the one with the freshest super soft tires. I'm pretty sure will need to make another pit stop. And then he'll have the freshest super soft tires to set another fastest lap. On the long run, he will be battling these two. So I think this will be the battle then for P5. Once again, as they are now passing Blanchimont, it will be interesting to watch who pulls the trigger on the pit stop situation between these two. And Knazovic stays out, and Benton-Rieder does the same. Now, what does Wilborn do? He also stays out. He is now very close to this battle. And maybe he might have the chance here if he comes in ahead of these two to pull an undercut on both of them. Oh, Benton-Rieder is trying to get hard again, and he's trying from the outside. He goes like he has done it after 32 laps of suffering behind that Scuderia scenario. He's finally been able to pull it off. This is what he's tried earlier when he fell off the track by being too late on the brakes. This time he manages to make it through Le Combe stay between the white lines and therefore moves past Knežević, and immediately he's pulling out a gap and can finally make use of that extra downforce that he probably has. Oh, Gonzalez Cativo in the chat. Asking what happened to Yannis Wilborn. He had a crash all on his own. Exiting, I think it's right after Puron. He dropped the wheel on the grass, spun into the wall, and lost his front wing. So he had to go into the pits very early and change that. And he's recovering from this incident now. Knežević into the pits, and so is Yannis Wilborn. Oh, Daniel, you might be in trouble here. He's worked so hard to make it past Knežević. He is released by his pit crew right now, and I think Wilborn has passed him in the pits. Has he? You don't really see it. No, Knežević just ahead of Yannis. And this could be a saving grace for Daniel Benton-Reeder. If these two battle and cost themselves a bit of time here, he might not get caught out by the undercuts. There goes Wilborn. Rear wing is open. And I'm afraid, yeah, nothing Knežević can do about that. Oh, a bit of a wave that Wilborn has given Knežević there. With the rear wing. And that has put Gargiano back ahead of Wilborn and Knežević. I think Wilborn will be easily able to pass him. Gargiano, by the way, still out on those mediums that he switched onto in lap 10. Gino Gargiano making those mediums live forever. And yeah, I was about to say maybe that is an option for Benton-Reeder to try and just stay out there on those mediums, but no, he is reacting to what Wilborn and Knežević have done. Well, let's see where he comes out. Gargiano will definitely pass him. I think Wilborn might as well, and then it will be very close with Gargiano. Oh, Wilborn already passed Gargiano, because Gargiano went into the pit lane. Knežević is now also passed. And, oh, poor Daniel. Oh no, it has happened. He is behind Knežević once again. The bow from 9th pits now as well for his final pit stop. And yeah, I'm afraid if nothing happens to anyone in the top 8, it will be tough luck for João Fernando on his comeback for Magnum Motorsports. A good finish in 9th, but there are, well, no points on offer for 9th. Machado also in the pits. There will also be no points for Potenza this afternoon, at least as it stands. And now I think we should be through with all of the pit stops. Everything that happens now will happen on track. Well, and we have some interesting battles that might be developing towards the end. We have Filip Puška on the medium tire against Pascal Polens, who is around 6.5 seconds behind him, but on the super softs. Let's see how quick he might be able to close that gap. So this might be a battle for the final place on the podium. Or will HRT decide to completely sacrifice Polens? Because he is now the car ahead of Wilborn. Oh, they might as well do that because he has a 5-second penalty. So if they just let Wilborn get close enough to, be ahead of Poland after this penalty gets applied, he might still finish 4th there. Well, let's see what HRT decide to do. But as Lucas Murno is leading this race, who is the main rival of Wilborn in the championship, they might actually do that. But let's wait and see what's happening. And then, of course, there is the race-long battle that we've seen between Alexander Knežević and Daniel Benton-Rieder. Benton-Rieder got caught out by strategy there. It's taken him, 32 laps to finally make it past Kneze on track. He won't have as much time this time. Ruben Meschede, this will be a good result for him. A pretty underwhelming season. I don't think he will be able to close that gap to Lucas Murno. Murno instead has increased his lead over Meschede after the final round of pit stops. So unless anything unforeseeable happens, I don't think we'll see any big shuffles in the top 3. Poland's unsurprisingly not making any impression on Pushkin. Talking about it earlier, I forgot that he still has that 5-second penalty from the incident with Gino Gagiano very early in the race. So even if he manages to get past Pushkin, there is no way that he's able to pull out a 5-second gap in the last remaining 2 laps. So, this is the battle that we will watch towards the end of this race. Daniel Benton-Rieder against Alexander Knežević. Benton-Rieder will bite himself that he didn't pit and was caught out by Kneze and Benton-Rieder. Interesting. Poland's in the pits once again. Oh, will they be going for fastest lap, get that fastest lap, and then let Wilborn by? They might do that. Poland's just out of the pit lane, and I think Wilborn will be quite close now. So 7 laps to go, including this one, for Benton-Rieder to find a way past. And yes, indeed, Pascal Polens is now just a handful of seconds ahead of his teammate on fresh super soft tires. So he might be going for a very quick lap now. Get that fastest lap for him. And then help Wilborn up to 4th again. This is what I presume, at least, what Holland Racing Team will be trying to do. Already thinking about the championship, because the consistency of Lucas Murno is not to be underestimated. Listen to Lucas Murno's season record so far. 6th in Australia, but he was fighting for a podium, had an unfortunate crash then, and dropped down to 6th. 2nd, coming very close to the win in Bahrain. 2nd, coming very close to the win in Barcelona. 4th, then in Monaco. 2nd, once again, very close to winning in Canada. And 4th in France after starting from the front row, choosing the wrong tire on somewhat damp start to the French race. The track was damp, but not damp enough for the intermediates that he chose there. Still, a fantastic recovery drive to finish that race in 4th. And today, it looks like... Oh, Benton Reeder's past Knezovic! Sorry for interrupting that, but this time, this has worked a lot better for Benton Reeder. Maybe we'll get a replay of that move, but I think it was Lacombe that they just passed, so yeah. Might well be that it is a pretty straightforward move. Using DRS on the camel straight and then braking past into Lacombe. Let's see though if Knezovic can stay with him, because as soon as Knezovic is able to open that rear wing, I think he might have an easier time than Benton Reeder. And yes, I think it is the exact same move that we've seen before. Ooh, oh, there is... Oh, okay. That might be one for race control to take a look at, because there was contact between the two of them. Interesting, so it was actually not that straightforward. And Knezovic is very close to Benton Reeder. He will have DRS. And there is a 5-second penalty for Daniel Benton Reeder, so I think this battle is now decided in favor of Alexander Knezovic. Because even if Benton Reeder finds another way past, once again, that corner, he's lost the car now twice that we've seen that. So yeah, 5 seconds for an unsafe rejoin by Daniel Benton Reeder. Oh, into poo on this is never going to work. Yeah, so Benton Reeder, he has just 3.5 laps time now to move past Knezovic, and then he needs to pull 5 seconds. I don't think that is possible. But he's also not under threat of being overtaken by Gino Giugiano, because he's too far back. Max Heyman into the pits. Maybe he's also trying to go for a fastest lap. Fresh set of super softs. And yeah, well, why not? So the fastest lap of this race still belongs to Yannis Wolborn, a 1:45.515. Pascal Paulens has come very close. His fastest lap time is a 1:45.529. So just a couple of thousandths slower, but still, even with the fresher set of super softs, Wolborn still has that faster lap. The gap between Paulens and Wolborn, though, is around 7 seconds. So if they want to do the swap in the results, they might need... Well, Poland needs to lose 2 seconds. Oh, in the meantime, Benton Reeder, sorry, I completely missed that by looking at the fastest lap times, has made it past Knezovic once again, and he is trying to pull away. Well, can he pull out 5 seconds? I really doubt that. When he finishes this lap, he has 3 to go. Oh, lock up there for Knežević into the bus stop. He will be trying his best to stay with Benton-Reader now, especially as Knežević still has DRS. I don't think there is any opportunity for Benton-Reader to pull away. Because this lap as well, thanks to the rear wing, Knežević will be super close into Lecombe. And yeah, there's just no way he can get those 5 seconds back. Yeah, you see, and immediately Knežević is super close to the rear wing of the Better Julian. Oh, welcome Ash in the chat. You're just dropping in for the final 2 laps of this race. It has been an interesting one indeed. I strongly recommend to watch the replay once it goes online on Monday, because this has been a wild one and a very interesting one for the championship. Now, 2 laps to go for Lucas Murno, who is still quite comfortably in the race lead. Knežević still has DRS from Benton-Reader, so yeah, I think 6th belongs to Knežević. Unless he makes a mistake. Benton-Reader still with that 5-second penalty. Same goes for Pascal Polens. We'll need to watch the gap between Polens and Woolborn to see if they do the swap. The championship situation as it stands, 55 points. No, sorry. Is 45. 54 points for Yannis Woolborn and 47 for Lucas Murno. So the gap is down to just 7 points as it stands. But Lucas Murno, the man of the moment, maybe one of the drivers of the season so far. He is starting his final lap of round 7 of the WMSC 2024 season. 5.6 seconds. He is ahead of Ruven Meschede in second. He has fought his way up from 5th on the grid. Terrific start. He fought his way up to 1st, and as soon as he took it, he never looked back. He came very close to winning in Bahrain. He came super close to winning in Spain. Started from pole in Canada, only finished second, just a few hundredths of a second behind Filip Puška. But this time, it seems like he will be able to pull it off. Just half a lap to go for Lucas Murno. How nervous will he be? Looks all very controlled, but he's still pushing as he enters the final sector. Through Blanchimont towards the bus stop. Lucas Murno is about to win his first WMSC race. Filip Puška, Max Riedmüller, Yannis Woolborn, Ruven Meschede, Pascal Polens, and now it will be Lucas Murno, the 6th ever race winner of the WMSC, the first win for Scuderia Cesario, the first win for a Brazilian at exactly the same track where he achieved his first podium finish last year. Lucas Murno wins in Spa-Francorchamps and makes the situation in the championship a very, very interesting one. The championship is alive as Lucas Murno does a few celebratory donuts at the exit of La Source. What a deserved win for Lucas Murno. It's been a long time coming, and finally he's done it. Ruben Meschede finishes second, Philip Puschke completes the podium, and indeed, Pascal Polens has closed the gap to Jannis Wohlborn down to under 5 seconds, so Wohlborn will be classified 5th. Benton Reeder finishes 6th, will be classified 7th, as Knezovic finishes 7th, and will then therefore be classified 6th because of the penalties for Polens and Benton Reeder. Gee, I'm pretty confused right now. Gino Gagiano will be able to score the final points of this race to make it an SCMM double points finish. So, what a race this has been. The first big mistake of Jannis Wohlborn, a very uncharacteristic mistake from him. And I think this is the first time this season that we won't see an HRT on the podium. Well, we'll wait for the drivers to finish their victory lap, especially for this guy here, Lucas Murno. He has finally done it. He has not put a foot wrong in the race here today. And here are the race results. Lucas Murno wins ahead of Ruben Meschede and Philip Puschke. Jannis Wohlborn will move up to 4th after Polens' penalty is applied. So Polens finishes 5th. Same goes for Knezovic and Benton Reeder, with Knezovic therefore being classified 6th in the end. Benton Reeder 7th. Gino Gagiano 8th. Fernando Labau 9th. Matheus Machado 10th. And, well, Max Heyman, the last classified car, in 11th. Bekela, Quercio, Pekli, B, Bierhoff, and Kativo all did not finish. And, yeah, we'll now wait for the top 3 to join me here for a quick post-race interview, as the gap in the championship is down to 8 points. If my math is all right, so take that with a grain of salt. So, yeah, we're waiting for the top 3. So we'll be getting Lucas, Philip, and Ruben in a second. Okay, we're now here with the podium finishers of this race. Well, Lucas, first of all, let's speak to you. What a race for you. It's been a long time coming, and you've finally done it. You won your first race in the WMSC. Congratulations, first of all. Yeah, how was it for you in the car, especially after only qualifying 5th?
First of all, I'm a little speechless, but yeah, the car was good. The car was really solid on the rise. I, I really bet on increasing a little bit more my downforce since the car was really solid on the straight and the qualifying after looking for a good gearbox and gear shifts, and we got a good one. The car became really solid on the corners and solid on the straight, so I knew that we could go a little bit farther, and the most difficult part of the race was just to stay in front, doing the best corners as I could, because yeah, that was the 20 longer laps of my life on this track. I'm not gonna lie, it was I'm very anxious for this victory, many times getting closer in the season, and I'm now very happy to win in the track that was ironically the last time a friend, our Brazilian friend that died last year, winning this track, and could finally get a win in the track that took in his last win in the Formula Cars, and all my friends was there as well, and they done their best, and would like to dedicate this victory to Felipe Barbosa. Would like to dedicate this win for him, and in the more of that, um, it took me a little bit more energy for the second part. I'm very anxious since we're gonna be 2 months to wait for the next part of the season, and first and well, I'm very happy with that. I'm very speechless. So finally get it. So very gratified for the first win, and hopefully for some many.
Yeah,
Very
what a
happy with
nice.
all.
Yeah.
Congratulations for Roven and Boske for the podium. They did a very solid race as well.
Yeah, what a nice gesture, dedicating this win to your friend. And yeah, yeah, congratulations once again. Now, speaking about the second half of the season, I think the championship, the gap at the championship is now down to only 8 points. So, how are you going to approach this second half of the season as you are now properly in a championship fight with Yanis?
Well, a little bit more confident now with for the second part of the season, since most tracks will be more benefit to Cesaro, despite being even more benefit to Holland. So it's gonna be a very tight races in front, and SCMM and Optimino upgraded their cars as well, and it's a very competitive season compared to the last season. We have we have the season with the closest finishes in most races, and it's very close. It's very high level in the front field, so it's gonna be very tight, and it's gonna be very fun to take a look at how it's going.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you once again, and yeah, looking very much forward on how this second part of the season develops. Now, Ruben, congratulations for yet another podium finish. It just is not to be this year, isn't it? Once again, just second, but you look very solid out there today. How are you looking forward to the second part of this season?
Yeah, thanks. Congrats to Lucas to have an amazing race, and also to go with more downforce on the car was the right decision today. Was clearly the faster way. Yeah, for the second half of the season, we get big upgrades. In Hungary, we're gonna get, I think, 3 to 4 upgrades, maybe even more. I don't know. I forgot. And yeah, I mean, to be honest, I would be probably in this championship fight also if I didn't miss so many races because of other leagues or my internet connection. But yeah, it is what it is, and I do the best job as I can. And for such little practice, I can be happy with second.
Yeah, how much were you pushing there at the end? Did you think there was a chance to catch back up to Lucas, or as soon as you passed, you knew it was over?
I knew it that he's gonna pass me when I saw the gap from going from the first sector 2.3 second when Lucas overtook Pushke, and the gap at the end of the second sector was 1.5. I was like, "Huh?" But yeah, congrats to Lucas again, and what a amazing race.
Yeah, congratulations with another podium finish. So, Philip, you this is now your fourth podium finish in a row. Congratulations for that achievement. Um, This race today, you were in the fight for the win at the beginning. We were wondering a bit about the decision to go for the medium tire in the final stint. Could you talk us through that a bit?
Yeah, it was just the wrong decision. I thought it would be faster, but I did a wing adjustment as well. More front wing and medium tire, and I was sliding a lot, too much, and no grip at all. So I had to save the third place in the end, which is pretty acceptable for the practice input, but yeah, obviously not ideal. I think the win was there with the right downforce setting as well. I had way too low downforce. I had almost like the lowest wing you can select. So obviously not the right decision looking at Lucas' pace, especially in the end, but I guess it's okay. And looking at the first race of the season, first two races, I think the last 2-3 races were very positive, getting a little bit of consistency into the team, into the results. So let's wait and see. And I think there's more to come.
So, how will you be approaching the second half of the season? You are 22 points, I think, behind Yanis now. How are you? Well, how do you see your chances into the second half?
It's always going to be difficult if you DNF the first two races, but I think with a little bit of luck on our side, on my side, always everything is possible. But to be realistic, I think if Giannis finishes every race, it's going to be very, very difficult. But let's wait and see.
Okay, yeah. So thank you all three of you, and congratulations once again for a great race, and thank you for the great show that you've put on for us this afternoon. Well, so as I said, this has been the first half of the WMSC season. We will be going into a summer break now, and we'll only be returning at the 15th of September. But oh boy, is this going to be a second half. So definitely don't miss that as we go racing at the Hungaroring for the very first time. And yeah, see you at the other side of summer. And yeah, hope you'll be back, as will we. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.